Hello and welcome to Truckers World for another video. As you can see, I'm not in work, just in the bedroom. Nothing exciting about that. So I did do some work on a night shift last night, and it was in fact my very first Class 1 job. And I can tell you now, it was an eye-opener. Didn't expect it. It was a real big eye-opener. And this is what this video is all about. I'm going to tell you what I did on my first Class 1. Now, obviously, every job on a Class 1 is probably a little bit different, so don't take it like this will be your first job, okay? But it's just going to let you know about a couple of things. And what I will say is that I've been a Class 2 driver for over a year, and yeah, I was still flapping a little bit with this and that. So if you are a car driver and you've gone straight to Class 1, there's an awful lot to take in. Obviously you've got the driving, reversing, but it's all the other stuff. Your tacho, the stuff that you need to bring with you, the curtain side stuff, clipping, securing, all that kind of stuff, which obviously I've learned. But as a new driver from car to Class 1, it's an awful lot to take on board, so just be aware of that. So my shift started at 7 o'clock the previous evening, and I get there, everything was fine, but they kind of talk to you as if like they've expected, yeah, you've had a year experience, you know what you're doing. The agency I was on, or I am on, have told these guys that I'm a fairly new driver, so they're aware of that, but they didn't really treat me like that one, to be fair. But that being said, they were fine, they were okay. So I was told, got this vehicle, tractor unit, whatever you want to call it, and so it shows me to it, did me checks, that's fine. Wasn't attached to a trailer at this point. He said, right, so you need to go next door, find his trailer number, hook on. So that's what I did, went through there, and I started doing a hook on. And again, first things first, I did forget a little bit, the procedure. So I went back, I knew how to go back, so I reversed back, wait for the click, and it was secure, did my tug test, but I actually forgot to check the parking brake was on right at the beginning, so even I forgot that. So did that, everything was fine, and then went through the procedures, and again, didn't put the clip on first, forgot that. I went straight to do all the pipes and the sushis, etc. Excuse me, I've got a cough, bit of phlegm, I've had a bit of a cold over the last couple of days. Anyway, so I did that, that was fine. Remembered everything else, the clip, I even remembered, took me a number plate on the back, something that you can easily forget. Went for all the checks, and I thought, right, I'm ready to go. And I thought, I've done the parking brake, etc. And it wouldn't move. And I'm like, what's going on? And I couldn't figure it out. And there was a little blue handle at the end of the trailer. And I thought that was parking brake. So I pushed that in thinking that was a parking brake. And that isn't. That's actually to level your trailer. You can push it in left or right and it'll level your trailer. I didn't know that. So I was forced to phone up and say, look, I can't find the parking brake. They told me it was a little button on the legs on the driver's side. And that's what that's what I missed. Simple as that. So there you go. That's a newbie for you. So I went then to Coventry, about two and a half hour drive, maybe, give or take. Was okay at first, it was fine. Got to where I was going, and it wasn't the biggest yard considering. So when I went in, there was a lorry driver there, so it was bay reversing. And I asked him, what was the best way of doing this? And he said, yeah, if you go over there, just do a U-turn, come back, and then go towards the exit, so to help give you a lot of room at the back. I wouldn't have done that, to be honest. And again, a newbie, I'd have gone all the way to the side and reverse, kind of like side parallel on. And I don't think that would have been the right method, especially because it was really busy a little bit further forward. So he was right. Anyway, did the U-turn, come back, went towards the gate as he said, and then started my very first reverse procedure into a bay. And I can tell you now what a spectacle that was. It must have taken me at least 15 minutes, the very least, and probably about 15 attempts. I didn't count, to be fair, but I was forwards, backwards. I was oversteering, I was understeering. It was so difficult the way it was. I think I had a lot more room, I would have been able to cut that corner a little bit into the base, which is what I think you meant to do. But because of where I wasn't able to be in that position. It's difficult to explain, but I wasn't able to be in that perfect position. So yeah, Got there in the end, but by God, that was a challenge, and that's my very first one. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the only one. It's going to take a good few attempts to get good at that kind of thing. So on from there, got tipped from there. Out I went towards the next one. So I had an empty trailer, just backed onto the bay. That was fine. And I couldn't find the postcode. The postcode wouldn't show up on this where I was meant to be. So I looked on Google Earth, and that found me. And I got the directions from that as well. So again, that's how Google Earth helps at times, when you can check the address and just make sure everything's correct. Got to the next one. And again, the gate people, security guys, they all think you've been there 1,000 times. And I had to tell them, so I've not been here, not too sure what to do. So he told me where to go, and this one was driving around the building, and then you drive into the warehouse, and the forklift truck drivers load you up. Again, the amount of lorry drivers on the road at night, I had no idea. Class 1s predominantly, loads of them, in and out the warehouse. It was crazy. And there's two lines, one going forwards, the other one opposite from you, going the other way, all getting loaded up. And when you put a foot wrong, the forklift drivers are on your arse. I didn't tell you to do that. Go back. I didn't tell you that. We'll tell you when to come in. Extra. And I've had experience of going to some of these places, but this is on a new level. Anyway, when I was finally told to come in, which wasn't too long, to be fair, a lot of places, a lot longer than that. And suddenly you're looking round, I had my curtain back, and because obviously Class 1 lorries are bigger than Class 2s, it takes so much longer to get that curtain back, so much heavier, the amount of clips you've got to undo, that's a lot of hard work in itself. And next thing you know, I'm waiting there, and the forklift truck drivers are like ants. They are whizzing around everywhere, loading up all these trailers. It's like non-stop. It was a real eye-opener. It really was. When I'm loaded, I goes round and I start obviously strapping up. That took a lot of time, again, a whole host of time. And then it was time to then bring my load back to the depot. But it wasn't exactly where I started off. It was a little bit further down the road, which they explained previously. So I did that. And again, obviously open up the curtain. And again, these forklift truck drivers, when I got back to base, very stern. No, don't go in yet. Go back. You have to be scanned. Right, come here in front of there. And again, as soon as you park up, these forklift truck drivers just sat there on the phone, not doing anything. Suddenly just burst into action, and they're all over the shop, unloading you. And then he said, right, pull your trailer up here and drop your trailer, and move away. And again, I was a little bit, kind of like a rabbit in the headlights. Went over too much to the left. He didn't really tell me off, but he just told me, no, next time you need to do this, do that. They're on your case all the time. So I did that, dropped the trailer, and then again I had a problem pulling the tractor unit out. So I was driving. I thought, I've done everything here. Everything's off. I pulled the kingpin. Why is it not moving? Why is it still attached? And I was dragging the trailer a little bit, and I got worried. So I checked again, and it turns out the kingpin wasn't fully pulled out. You have to really pull it out, and you'll know when it's pulled out because it really comes out. But again, a newbie, I wasn't aware of that. So problem solved, got back to the yard, parked up, had a bit of problem getting in the yard. This was maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was very tired at that point because I hadn't had a load of sleep the day before, so I was really tired. And then I realised when I got into the yard, I'd left the number plate on the trailer. No big deal, I thought, that's soddy, I'm not going all the way back there now, someone will bring it over, and that was it. So yeah, I parked up the tractor unit, and that was me done. I didn't bother refilling. They did say you could refill on your way back, but I was just so tired. By that point I'd done a 10-hour shift, but because it was a new thing for me, and maybe I was quite desperate to get back home to get to sleep, because like I say, I hadn't had a good amount of sleep. That's where I ended it. So I did a full 10-hour shift. Overall, I'm really happy I had the experience. It was really good that way. But you just need to get used to it. It reminds me when I first started doing Class 2, and I was thinking, God, maybe I should go back to van driving a little bit, It's a lot of stuff to take in, a lot of stuff. The driving side was okay. I had to be a bit careful here and there and roundabouts with some of the cars, but I knew what I was doing, just took it nice and slow. It was just obviously reversing. That is a learning in progress without a shadow of a doubt. I've got another job tomorrow, same agency, really good. And obviously I'm going to give an update on that video once I've done it. But overall, you know, it can be done, whether you're a car driver or a class 2, but there is a steep learning curve. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back soon for another one, and I hope that you learned something as well. Right, thank you for watching, and keep on trucking.